Hey guys, here we are at week 5. We're in our stay-at-home, uh, sheltered-home part of this coronavirus epidemic, and I just want to tell you guys that when I planned on doing this March Madness, I had no idea that we'd all be stuck home 5 weeks later. So welcome to my living room / studio. We're going to finish off this 5-week challenge by putting all the exercises together into a nice long sequence, and I'm going to add 3 new exercises in at the end that I will talk you through. But by that time our body will be nice and warmed up. You can keep this video and go ahead and use it during this time that we're at home and maybe incorporate it into your routine 3 or 4 times a week, or just take some of these exercises that you learned along the way that feel really good to you and just use them to kind of decompress. Let's get started. So we're going to start with our tuck and tilt or imprint and neutral position. So I'm just going to have you lay down on your mat, and we're going to just take a nice breath, and as you exhale, you're just going to use your core to tuck your pelvis into your imprint. Take a breath and exhale, tilt back into your neutral. Take a breath, exhale, just imprint the spine so that low back space gets a little bit smaller. Exhale, and then inhale, exhale back to neutral. Give me one more of those. Take a breath, exhale, using your deep core to tuck. Take a breath, exhale, use your deep core to tilt. Good. Let's start with our hip release. So now we want to keep our pelvis in that neutral position. Remember, neutral position is when your hip bones on the front of your pelvis and your pubic bone are all relatively in the same plane. So we want to maintain that and use our core. We're going to inhale, drop our leg out to the side, slide it down, rotate it in, and slide it back up. And here's 2. And exhale, slide it in. So my solid leg, my knee that's bent, is staying very stable and helping and keeping my whole body stable as I'm circling the head of my femur in my hip joint. One more. Inhale as that leg comes out to the side, slide it down, and exhale, bring it back up. Now let's reverse that. Let's slide it in, rotate it, and then slide it back up. And being really aware that your neck is in a nice long position, that your chin is back, your chest is wide, your ribs are down, and your pelvis stays in its neutral. We're going to really keep those ribs down, not arching our back. And give me 2 more with this leg. Rotate it out and slide it back up. One more time. It rotates in, we rotate out, and slide it back up. Let's go on to the right leg. We're going to rotate that leg out to the side, slide it down, and pull it back up. And so if you want, still keeping your hands on your hips, hopefully you've been doing this one for the last 4 weeks, and you feel that it's a lot easier to control your pelvis and keep it in that neutral position while you're separating your leg. And that's really the big benefit here, aside from we're also stirring the head of the femur in that hip joint to draw some fluid to the joint itself and pull it back. Now let's reverse that. Let's rotate it in, slide it down, and exhale, pull it back up on the outside. So it rotates in, it rotates out at the end, and comes back up. Give me 3 more here. Slide it down, rotate out, and bring it back up. And 2 more, in and down, out, and bring it back up. And last one, in and down, rotate it out, and bring it back up. Now we're going to go right from this into our hip rolls. So I'm going to keep my feet nice and solid on my mat. I'm starting in my neutral spine. I'm going to take a breath, exhale, use my deep low belly to really tuck. And now I'm going to push through my feet and try to articulate up my body, up off the mat, just till I get to the tops or the bottoms of my shoulder blades. I don't want you to pop those ribs. Remember, you're going to keep those ribs down. Now I'm going to take a breath, exhale. Think of sinking my ribs down and rolling down through each vertebrae, through the low back, all the way back to my neutral position. Take a breath, exhale, tuck the pelvis, roll through the imprint, and roll up. Think of my knees shooting straight out over my toes. I'm gonna inhale, exhale, sink those ribs and roll back down. Let's do 3 more. Exhale, tuck, scoop out those abs and roll up, noticing if as you go, each vertebrae seems to move a little bit easier. We're really trying to separate each vertebrae. We have deep, deep muscles along our spine, and a lot of times those muscles kind of shut down, and the bigger muscles that move our vertebrae in several vertebrae at a time start to take over, and we surely don't want that. We want to try to keep our spine as supple as possible. And come back down. Let's do 1 more. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, push through the feet, roll yourself up, inhale, and then exhale, sink those ribs and roll yourself all the way back down. Okay, now we're in our position here, so let's just go right into our our head nod, and then we'll do an ab prep. So remember that chin nod or that head nod, it's a very small motion. And really all we're trying to do is articulate the very base of the skull on the first vertebrae. So let's just nod the chin and let's hold that position. Keep our pelvis very stable, and then exhale, come up into an ab prep. Take a breath at the top, and then exhale from our ribs, lengthen back down onto our mat. Now if you have a hard time holding your head in this position, put a little towel under your head. Inhale, nod, exhale, inhale at the top, and then exhale, lengthen back down. We're going to do 4 more of those. Inhale, nod the chin. Exhale. Think of just moving those ribs towards your pelvis and not letting your hip flexors or your quads get engaged. They're just relaxing there. You're really using your core here to stabilize, and then also to flex the ribs towards the hips. And come down. And let's do 1 more. Inhale, nod. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, come down. Let's extend our left leg and our left arm long, and then just push ourselves over and roll over onto our mat to do our breaststroke prep. This is breaststroke prep number 1. Your legs are about hip distance apart. Your arms are wider than your shoulders, and you're looking down at your mat. I hope you guys have been working on this one. We're just going to inhale. Think of opening up our chest and lifting from the breastbone, and then exhale as we lower back down. So my core stays engaged. I'm going to inhale, lift up, and exhale, lower back down, thinking that the crown of my head is reaching towards the wall in front of me. Inhale to extend the spine right at that mid-back. Exhale as we lengthen down, and then give me 2 more. Inhale as we lift up, and exhale, lower. I'm not pushing through my hands. I'm just resting my hands gently on the mat. Here's our last one. Inhale, and then exhale, lengthen back down. Let's go ahead and push ourselves into a shell stretch. So I'm going to bring my feet together. My knees are apart, and I'm going to rest my hands wide, and I'm going to take a nice breath into the back sides of my ribs. And as I exhale, I think of actually hollowing out my abdominals and sinking my hips into my heels to really just get a nice stretch for that low back. Let's take another breath here. Inhale into those back sides of the ribs, and exhale, sink those hips into the heels. And then gently come on back up. Okay, let's go ahead and let's do our hip bridge. So hip bridge looks similar to hip rolls, but remember, we're not going to move our pelvis. Now we're going to keep our pelvis in a nice neutral position, and we're going to rest our hands down at our sides to keep our upper body nice and stable. Again, I want you to think of keeping your chest wide and your ribs down. Think of your whole tripod of your foot. So from the ball of my big toe to my pinky back to my heel, I'm pushing nice and solid through my foot, keeping my core engaged, and now I'm going to lift up from my low fibers of my glutes, and then I'm going to lower back down. So it's a hinge right at that hip joint. This is my axis of rotation, and lift up and lower down. We should be feeling this in the very bottom of the butt cheeks. You could even think of your knee following your big toe. Well, let's have our knees follow our baby toes. Almost think of keeping those legs reaching out and away, but they're still lined up, shooting straight ahead. Just to see if we can feel a little bit more glute engagement. And come back down. We have 5 more of these. We're going to pick up and lower down. Core is on. Hold that spine stable. And down. We've got 3 more. Exhale as we lift. My whole foot stays in contact with the mat. My core is engaged. 2 more. Lift and lower. And last one, exhale, lift. Let's hold it at the top for a second. Let's think, can I feel that I keep my low back curved, that I've got my hips nice and open, my knees are reaching out over my toes, and lower back down. Nice job. Okay, let's try our seated twist. Now, I'm in the same predicament you are because I'm not in my studio. I didn't bring home any of my risers. So I'm going to use my melt roller. You can use whatever you've got. Remember, just so that we can keep our spine in our nice neutral, and we're going to try our seated twist. So I can extend my legs out. I want to be on my sit bones with my pelvis nice and neutral. My arms are out at their sides, and I'm going to take a breath and exhale, rotate. 1, 2, 3. And inhale, come back to center. Exhale, rotate. 2, 3, and inhale, back to center. Remember, we're rotating from our rib cage, and our spine is going up and around like a barbershop pole. 3, and back to center. My hips stay nice and solid. And center. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, back to center. We've got 2 more in each direction. Just using those obliques to help rotate the rib cage around the spine, keeping our shoulders down and away from our ears. It's all coming from that mid-upper back and back to center. And then rest your hands down. Okay, let's go right into our mermaid. So again, I'm still on a riser because I want to be in my neutral spine. I'm going to rest my hand. If it won't reach down to the floor, I can even put my hand on my riser. I'm going to float my arm up and then exhale. Think of keeping my low back space nice and long, and then inhale and exhale as I side bend. Inhale. So if I think of myself just letting my rib cage move away from my pelvis, I'm not hiking my shoulders up towards my ears, my chest is still wide, my neck is still long, and my pelvis is still in neutral. Nice job. And let's do that on the other side. Inhale, float your left arm up. Exhale, side bend. Inhale, come back to tall. Exhale, reach. Inhale. Exhale. Give me 2 more. That feels really good on the back. Exhale. Especially if we're doing a lot of sitting around, guys. I want you moving your spine. Exhale and inhale. Come nice and tall. Awesome. Let's go and do our leg circles. So this was all from last week. I'll start with my left leg because it's closest to you. I'm going to keep my right leg nice and stable. My pelvis is in my neutral. My chest is wide. My ribs are down. I'm going to bring my leg up only as high as I can maintain this neutral position for my pelvis. And I'm going to start by rotating in towards my center line. Exhale, bring my leg back up. 1. Inhale. Exhale, bring my leg back up. 2. Inhale. Exhale up. 3. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Inhale. Exhale, 5. Think that my inner thigh on my right leg is helping to stabilize that leg. Here's 7. No gripping in the front of the hip. 8. Remember, I taught you could use a band or a yoga strap if you needed to. 9. And 10. Let's reverse that. We're going to take it out and up. Take it 1. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Keeping that core engaged, using your breath. Try not to breathe up into your chest. Try to send that breath down. Get that diaphragm to move. 4. Inhale. Exhale, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 6. just stirring the head of the femur in the joint. 7, inhale, exhale, 8, inhale, exhale, 9, inhale, and exhale, 10. Nice job. I'm going to put my left foot nice and solid on my mat, slide my right leg out, bring it up, make sure I've got my neutral spine. I'm going to draw my circle in first and then take it out and up. 1, inhale, exhale, out and up. 2, try to soften those ribs into the mat. 3, we're looking up towards the ceiling. 4, inhale, exhale. 5, inhale, exhale. 6, picturing that I'm kind of reaching my femur, my thigh bone, up and out of my hip joint. 7, inhale, exhale. 8, inhale, exhale. 9, inhale, exhale. 10. Let's reverse that. Take it out and around. 1 and 2. Keeping your circle as small as you need to keep your pelvis very stable. 5, inhale, exhale. 6, inhale, exhale. 7, exhale. 8, 2 more. 9 and 10. Nice job. Bend your knee and come on up. Okay, we're on our last additional exercises. We're going to go ahead and lie down on the mat and rest your head on your arm. So I want you to think that in this side lying position, we're not laying here like we're watching television, right? We're laying here in a nice long line, so you can always lengthen yourself along the edge of your mat to make sure you're in a nice straight line. And then I want you to think that your shoulders are stacked, your ribs are stacked, and your pelvis is stacked. So think of if you have a little baby mouse hole underneath you, but your ribs are down on the mat. Now your job is going to be to keep this all very stable. Remember, in Pilates, we always start from the core and then work out to the peripheral. So I want you to go ahead and put your hand in front of you if you need that little bit of help. And if you think you need a little more help, you could bend your bottom knee just to make sure you keep yourself in this nice long neutral spine. We're going to exhale as we lift our leg up and inhale as we lower it down. Now I want you to keep going with me, but I want you to watch my waist. My waist on the top does not shorten. It stays the same length as my waist on the bottom. This is wrong. If I'm lifting and I'm shortening my waist, that is not hip abduction. It's a little bit of hip abduction, but you're also getting lateral flexion of your torso, and we're trying to avoid that. So keep your nice neutral length. So reaching that pelvis away, and we're lifting up. You should be feeling this in your outer hip. This is where I want you to feel it, not into the front of the hip. And you could even feel a little bit of your glutes. Think of your ribs staying inside your body. Remember, our chest is wide, our ribs are down. Good. Give me 2 more here, 1 more, and now hold it up there in a slight abduction, and let's challenge ourselves and circle that leg. 1 and 2, 3, 4, reach your leg away. 5, as if I was pulling your leg out of your hip joint. 6, exhale. 7, core is on, nothing's moving up here. 8, 9, and 10. Let's reverse that. Reach it around. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh boy, if you got that all here, you did that very nicely. Let's do the other side. So we're going to flip around. Again, I'm going to have my head resting on my arms. I want to make sure that I'm in a nice long line. If I need to, I can bend my bottom knee just to give me a little bit wider base of support. Otherwise, our legs are extended long. Ribs stacked, hips stacked. Remember, the waist is the same length on both sides. I've got a little mouse hole. Pelvis is going to stay still, and I'm going to reach that leg away and up. 1. So what I like to think about is that I'm lengthening my leg and getting it longer than my bottom leg. So I'm really reaching that leg away. Here's 4. And you want to feel that in that side top hip. 5. Exhale. 6. Keep that core engaged. Exhale. 7 and 8. Give me 2 more. 9, and 10. Now let's hold it in that slight abduction and let's circle it. 1. See if you can get the back side to work to pull that leg through. 3. Exhale. 4. Exhale. 5. Keep trying to get that leg long. 6. Reach. 7. Exhale. 8. 9. And 10. Let's reverse that. Take it around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, exhale 8, exhale 9, and 10. Whew, that gets it, right? Okay, let's try one more exercise, and this, oh, actually I'm gonna give you 2 more exercises, but the next exercise is hip extension prone. So we're gonna be face down, and we want to be in neutral spine, but what I would say is this: you want to keep your low back space, but almost think that you give yourself a little bit of a tuck just to make sure that you don't go into hip extension. I'm sorry, back extension. So you're going to rest your forehead on your hands, and let's bring our legs close towards the center line of our body, and just think of your glutes working to lift your leg. Now, if you watch me, it's not a big move at all. It's very small, and I'm thinking of reaching my leg away, and I want to feel that right in the bottom of the glute. If you feel it more in your hamstring, you're driving with your hamstring, and we need to really help ourselves think about feeling that in the very lowest fibers of glutes. And here's 6, and reach 7, and exhale 8. Give me 2 more, 9 and 10. Let that leg relax down. Make sure you still have your core engaged, your spine is in neutral, and exhale, reach 1. Keeping your leg in, 2. Really try to shut down that hamstring for a split second so that the lowest fibers of your glutes can initiate the movement. 4, exhale, 5, exhale, 6, and 7, 3 more, 8, 9, and 10. Let's just push back into a shell stretch. So we're just going to open our knees, bring our toes together, bring your arms out in front, take a nice big breath into your backside ribs, and as you exhale, hollow out your abdominals and let your hips sink into your heels. Take one more breath here. And roll yourself up. Okay, let's do one more move. This is called spine stretch forward. And again, if you need to sit on a riser, go right ahead. I'm gonna angle myself away so that you can see where I'm at. We're gonna bring our legs nice and wide, and you're just gonna rest your hands either on your thighs or on the floor in front of you. You're gonna sit nice and tall. Think of taking a breath. As you inhale, do your gentle chin nod, and then exhale. We're gonna start to sequentially roll our spine forward as if we were peeling our back off a wall, but we're keeping our pelvis in its neutral. We're gonna stay here, take an inhale, and as we exhale, just start to stack your spine using your core, 1 vertebrae at a time. So we really want to think that we're using our abdominals here. We're not sinking. Inhale, nod the chin. Exhale, just start to peel your back off that imaginary wall. You're still on your sit bones. Your pelvis is still vertical. Inhale and exhale. Feel those sit bones and start to walk yourself back up nice and tall. Take a breath. Inhale, nod your chin. Exhale, round yourself forward. Inhale and exhale. Stack your spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Okay, good job, guys. I hope that you find doing some Mat Pilates at home helps you feel more mobile, more stable, and just helps you feel better overall. So give these exercises a try. I wish you guys all the best of good health and happiness, and hope to see you guys all soon back in the studio. Thank you.